Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. Good morning.
Good morning. It's been a while, family.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. The month is almost over.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and bring Athena on in here. Hey, Athena. You're on mute.
We just wanted to demonstrate technical difficulties this
There
morning.
you go. That's all right. It's quite all
We
right.
anticipated it though, because we're like, yeah, and you get here on time, try to work the kinks out, and technology still does what it want to do. Has a
That
mind of
is
its own.
true. Don't we
Yeah.
know it?
Yes.
So we are going to just jump right into it. It is 11:02. We don't want to hold the people too long. It's Saturday. So yeah, we're gonna pass it over to you, Athena, to do the introduction, and then we'll go from there.
Mhm.
Hello, welcome everyone. And it's a wonderful February 18th, I think it is.
Yeah.
But we're here and streaming from California, but you could be seeing us from anywhere around the world, and we love all of you. And we're here in the month of February talking about relationships and entrepreneurship. We're here with Bill and Mimi, and I'm Athena Salazar, the Chief Possibility Officer with Life to Design Business and Leadership Coaching. And both of us have come together to form B2B, which is back to basics. And from our video, if you were watching that beforehand, we'll give you a little idea from our mission statement. So, our mission statement is bringing businesses back to the basics. We're helping business owners build their foundation of vision, finance, marketing, and operations for growth and profitability. And part of that, what we
Roughly what?
profitability.
Oh yeah. See, we're not making a lot of money in businesses these days, so I want to make sure profitability. I like that word.
Increase that. Yes. And when Mimi and Bill and I were talking, planning for this year and what we're going to be bringing all of you, we really talked about relationships being that foundation. That's what we build on. And it's in our families, it's in our business, it's every type of interaction that we take. So we thought that that would be a good way to kick off the year. So that's why we're here bringing this to you this morning. So, yeah, there we
Awesome.
go.
Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. So myself and my wife, you guys know us, owner of Get the Hands Cleaning Services. We started a Facebook group back in the day, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and we were just trying to bring businesses together and on this journey. Those 3 years has definitely went by really, really fast. I'm like, why? It's been 3 years.
Mhm.
But in those 3 years, we've been able to encourage and help people start businesses, giving them ideas, et cetera, et cetera. So fast forward to today, the partnership, like you alluded to, Athena, was, hey, how can we come together and make something bigger than ourselves? Because business owner people just started,
Mhm.
they need help, and so our mindset of an entrepreneur was rebranded. We used to be the work hour, and we rebranded it into the mindset of an entrepreneur, and we focus on those three pillars in our on our side of town, which is starting, building, and maintaining. And so we just felt the partnership was needed, and here we are. So today we're going to jump right into it. It's the Love Month. Happy Valentine Day out there to you all. I hope you
Yes.
guys
Tell everybody thank
and
you.
everybody, thank you for joining us on this Saturday. Yeah, I think my wife has something to say.
We got somebody watching from the Philippines, Mr. Steven. Hello, everybody. Good morning, y'all. It's the month of love, and we're gonna talk a little bit about it. Love all the way around.
Yeah,
So I'm excited. I'm
relationships.
excited, y'all. I'm excited for this conversation. It's gonna get good. It's gonna get hot. It's gonna get uncomfortable. But you know what? We are here for it. So let's get into it.
Yeah, and so before we do, just make sure you are any issues you're having with the relationships in your life, whether it's your employees relationship, spousal relationship. We don't know everything, but we're going to get through this together as entrepreneurs. So if you have any questions or concerns, make sure you put it into the comments,
Yes.
and we'll love to answer some of the questions
Mhm.
from the different perspectives that are on the live today.
Yes.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get into it, guys. So
Yep.
we want to talk about maintaining, like how to maintain healthy relationships, whether
Mhm.
it be employees, children, your spouse, family, parents. If you're in a dating life, we want to talk about all that and hit on some of those
Mhm.
key things because we know, as an entrepreneur working in business, it can get a little bit hectic.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you're pulled, and me and Bill, we're in business together. So we've been doing this now for 5 years together, but we also have babies as well. So even that relationship, we have to tag on that as well with your children. One day, my kids, they see me on the phone, so they'll just be quiet, and I'm looking like, dang, it's quiet in here. Why is it so quiet? As soon as I get off the phone, they was like, "Oh, was that a business call, Mom?" They always think I'm on the phone for business. So just really just mending that relationship with them. Like, it's not always about business. I'm really looking on something for you guys, or I'm just browsing on my phone. So I mean, we just want to talk about all those
Mhm.
relationships, you guys. How is it being in how is it being in business with me, Bill?
I think it's a good balance. There was a video of a guy that Athena has shared with us with the group, and we kind of seen that video. And one of the things that stuck out to me, he said him and his wife operate their business together, but they operated from separate, parts of the home.
Mhm.
And so he was talking about how after so long it becomes a sibling relationship if you don't have those boundaries and those distinctions there. And so that kind of hit home because my wife and I we literally do everything together.
Mhm.
I think ours is more of a friendship because that's how we started the relationship.
Mhm.
And so because of that, it's just we don't get bored of each other, right? And again, you want to be very careful of that because it's not everybody's story. So as a husband and wife, I have to shout my baby out because we've been together for 17 years,
Mhm.
17, almost 2 decades,
I know that's crazy.
and been married for 15 of those 17 years. And I miss her even when I leave the house for 5 minutes. I'm like, calling her, checking in because I miss her, right? But again, it's a very interesting dynamic that it doesn't work for everybody, right?
Mhm.
We are aware of some people relationship husband and wife they can't stand each other. They go to the office just to get away from their spouse, and they do everything separately,
Mhm.
which is it works for them.
We even had a coach tell us that one time. We was going to
Hmm.
watch the car. She said, "Together,
Yeah,
like why? You could
yeah.
be doing something else, and he could be doing something. Like y'all wasting time. But we was like, this is what we used to
Everybody's
do.
different. Everybody is different. Like
Hmm.
Right?
sometimes it's like do your own thing during the day and then come together at the end of the day. Hey, how was your day? That kind of thing. And then you cherish that time together. But if it works for you to do it together,
Yeah.
do it together. Just be aware of your intention, what it is that works for you and make sure to
Mhm.
communicate that. Yeah.
And
That's
that's
right.
crazy. My wife said that because,
Mhm.
and you're saying the same thing too. We always self-examine ourselves
Mhm.
in our relationship, right? Because you don't want to
Yeah.
become naive and think you're exempt, right? You
Mhm.
also always want to make sure
Mhm.
you're checking those relationships. And one thing my wife does a lot, she loves to hang out with her friends. She has built a community of women around her that she's talking to them on the phone with different issues and things that she feel they need to talk about. So she has that way of escape. She likes taking trips. Sometimes I stay home and watch the kids, but it's a beautiful thing because we know we need that balance and that time alone, right?
Yes.
But again, it's like when that coach had told us that, we took heed to it because it's like, yeah, maybe you could be doing something different, right?
To be
But
more
again,
productive
and
that
being
way.
more productive that way, and we took heed to that, and so we kept watching and monitoring it. But again, that's
Mhm.
something that we've been doing for so long that we're just and it's crazy because now our children are taking on
I know.
those things, and it's like it get frustrating sometimes. Like we're right in the same house and they come in and say, can we sleep with y'all? And I'm like, no, go get. But it's good because it's a bond that's being formed,
Yes.
and as long as you're monitoring it and cultivating it in the right way, it has the ability to become something strong that
Yeah.
it won't be breakable, right? But again, you have to check it so you don't fall into those traps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then also with that, Bill, like you talked about with your kids, and being able to show them the journey of entrepreneurship and what it takes. I mean, that's a huge gift. I mean, they're not going to be educated with that in school, and being
mhm,
able to involve them, or they know those cues like, oh, if you're on the phone, it's professional time, and then how do
Yes.
I respond to that? So I've seen your kids, at, some of our different events, and they're there, they're
Yep.
practicing what they're seeing,
yeah.
and demonstrating. So that's wonderful, to be able to do that.
And
And
as we speak, they're here now with us in the office. We're in the conference room, but they're in in our office, and they're actually really just they
What?
understand. So they're in there having a good time. We tell them we're going to be on here for an hour.
mhm,
So it's healthy boundaries. We're not just telling them, oh, this is what we have to do. Because I think too, to segue into the parent and child relationship, it's
mhm,
another dynamic that we also have to work through, because for
Right.
us, growing up, our parents didn't explain much to us, right?
yeah,
And every household is different. We get it, but we didn't get too many explanation
Mhm.
mhm,
as to what was going on. It was this way or no way. And so for us, we're able to take the time and explain and have them to understand, because they process on a higher level than we give them credit for. And so as
mhm,
long as you're able to explain things to them, they're able to process it and understand it on a deeper level. But
Mhm.
again, it's you making sure that you are um, cultivating those relationships and making sure they're staying healthy, not just
mhm.
uh, come in here because we're in a meeting and all you're doing is just in a meeting. In a meeting, we reward our children. We have time separate to where we just play with them, enjoy each other's company. So it's a balance, I think, in a flow.
Yeah.
If I can say that, in
Mhm.
the relationships, in the different dynamics.
Oh, and then Bill, I was just thinking about something funny, because some people don't have children, and
Mhm.
they have their fur babies,
Yes.
and sometimes the
Talk
fur
about it.
babies don't listen, and they
Oh
just
my
come on
gosh.
in. So
I've
if you
seen
can
plenty of
figure out
these
your
Zoom calls.
schedule, your feeding
Yes.
schedule, that's going to be key.
Gotta lock them out sometimes. I've seen plenty of the Zoom
I got the
calls where
door
like
shut.
they're just walking right across, like tail just slapping you in the face, like, okay, yo, I see you want to misbehave today, but
Yeah.
okay. Our children have grown a lot because normally they'll be at this window, like, excuse me,
Are you done?
mom, mom,
It's like,
just to ask me though, are you okay? Are you okay? Like you clearly
you're like,
see
it's okay,
me.
we're coming back.
Yes, you clearly see me. Yes, we got the fur mommies in the house tonight, today,
Yes,
this
yes.
morning. Yes,
Representing a fur mommy. Yep.
yes. Y'all tell us too, you guys. Let us know, how is it with these relationships, whether it be on your job, with the employees, friends. How
Any
is it balancing?
questions?
Like, give us a little bit of something. Let's talk about it, y'all.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of people do always ask us that, like, how do you work with your spouse? Like, you don't get on his nerves, and he don't get on your nerves. Like, thank God, no, he don't. Like he said, like he misses me when he walk out the door, but I literally can be under my husband like all the time. Like, we cool like that, you
Yeah.
know. But I met another excuse me, I met another lady. They own a business, and we've been there before and supported their business
Years ago.
before. Yeah, years ago when we first started, and they were all together in one building. And now I see that it was two buildings. I was like, oh my gosh, so y'all downgraded? You came down to a small? She said, no, my husband has that building right there, and I have this one now. We want to do something differently, do
Hmm.
something separate. I want to do this, and he wants to do that. And then plus, I can't be with him all day long.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh. She said, we have our children. We have our children. And everything. But she was like, that was just too much being with him 24/7. So I was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Everybody needs our space. I think we've talked
Everybody
about
needs
that
their
before with
space.
personalities, or introvert, extrovert, and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I think the key thing is, like, you're not, like, especially if you're not on your own. It's when you're in business and you have your significant others,
Mm-hmm.
they're there as well, but it's really the confidence that you have in what you're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
then being able to move forward and belief in yourself and your business, where you're not relying on that on the other person to either make or break what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you want to be appreciative of the relationship that you have, and think about, is it really how I'm responding to what they're doing that's getting on my nerves? or is it or is it really that I'm not looking at what I'm appreciating about that other person? And then
Mm-hmm.
so the time that I'm away from them, I can do what I'm doing, and then when I'm with them again, I can appreciate that thing again
A
that
Right.
I
hundred
love about them.
percent. 100%. And one of the things we tell people, couples or people that are married or wanting to be married, is we don't know everything, but for us, we came. I know people talk about the 50-50 relationship
Mhm,
all the time. And I think one of the things that we combat that with is no, come in at least at 80-90%.
mhm,
Because if you come in at 50-50, you're not 100%. So
mhm,
for us, I think what makes it easy for us, I can cook, I can clean, I can take care of the kids, I can do all of that because that's how I was raised.
mhm.
And so does my wife, right? She does all those things
Yeah.
independent of myself.
Two
And
whole
so,
people, two
yeah,
whole people coming
so
together.
when we came into the relationship then was 80-80 or 80
Mhm,
90-90. It's not like somebody came in at 50 and I'm at
Mm-hmm.
90 and I have to kind of pour and drain, and you know what I'm saying? And I think that's another dynamic that we have to look at, because if we come into the relationship and we're at 80%, we don't have to be at 100%, because that's the other part. We can work together to get better because
yeah.
we believe in self improvement, we believe in self development, and that's what that comes into play. But if you're going to come in and stay at a 50%, I think that's not fair to your spouse. I think
Mhm,
that's when it becomes more of a chore. I think that's when it becomes more of a burden, because now I have to carry you. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So because now my wife can go out and have fun and enjoy herself, and she don't have to worry about, oh, is the kids gonna eat? Are they gonna be fed? A shower? Is the house gonna be clean?
Mhm,
So yeah, even some days when my wife stay home, I come home, I'm cooking. She
mhm,
said, you don't have to do all that. I'm tired. Just like I know you're tired. You've been working all day. No, I
mhm,
choose to do that. You see what I'm saying? But
mhm.
if you come into the relationship with that mindset of 80-90%, you're bringing that to the table. It makes it a lot more easier from my perspective, right? It
Mhm.
makes it a lot more easier because now you relax. I got it, right? And yeah, I just, although
It's
I'm
that
really,
ebb and flow of the two, because somebody mentioned in the comments the work life balance,
yeah,
and many of us visually, because every word creates a picture in our mind where we're thinking of, we're balancing like on a balance beam or something like that, but really it's work life synergy. So it's
yeah,
being able to be in the flow of what's happening, and everything has the ebb and flow. So if you can kind of like flow with it, because if you're trying to balance, you're actually attempting to put more on one side than the other, and you're
you'll
making it
fall.
do that. So it's just a different perspective of being able to see it as a flow. So like you said, Bill, sometimes you're going to be doing more, sometimes Mimi does more, and like in your relationships it may be like that, but understanding where you don't just pull that to one side. So if people are balancing, they're like, well, I'm putting so much in here,
Yeah.
they should be doing that here, and that's where you just want it to flow. You want to
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
flow together. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, just to pivot a little bit, one of the some of the important relationships right now we're dealing with as business owners
Mhm.
uh, is that because we're building a team, and I know this is your area of expertise, Athena,
Mhm.
with the teams building, right? It's
Mhm.
how can I say it? I feel like with the employees, we have lost. I mean, they come and go, the retention and all of that's a different subject. But I
Mhm.
think one of the biggest issue we're having is finding that good balance of flow, working with team members. We call them
Mhm.
team members because we want to
Mhm.
respect them. I think the point I'm trying to make is we're in this place now where we're rebuilding our
Mhm.
team, and so you have to we're learning after all these years of try and error. We're learning. You have to kind of train. You got to get them with the personality and really train it and place the right personalities in the right place. And I think we talked about this briefly yesterday.
Hmm. Yeah.
But for the main uh, areas of our struggles in building the teams is, whew, it's a lot. It's a lot. And when you're running a business that you're trying to build teams, it's a different kind of animal because again, the personalities have to be in the right places, right? So for example, you trying to put somebody that is their relationship is only good with numbers, you
Hmm.
cannot put them in your person in your customer service area, right? Or your
Right.
receptionist, right? That's not a
Hmm.
good flow.
Hmm.
Uh, and so we kind of mess up with that a few times where, had a operation manager that kind of was in that position, but his whole focus was numbers. He loved
Hmm.
numbers. And then we had him trying to run a team. And so it didn't work out very well, right?
Yeah.
But you learn from those things and you're able to say, okay, well, the next person we get, we got to make sure it fit. And so now we have a new individuals that's working and trying to flow, and he's more of a people person, and
Hmm.
so you can cultivate that relationship to where then it's easy. It's not a push, right?
Hmm.
It's not pulling teeth. So I think as business owners, those of us that are building teams, I think you got to understand you're going to make some mistakes, but you have to be able to make sure you got the right people in the right place. And I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest part of, team building. So I would love to hear your
Yeah.
perspective on that.
And that's so true is even before you hire your first person, you really have to understand yourself. That's the key, is understanding how it is that you work well, what are your strengths, because you don't necessarily, you want to figure out what is required for the business. Not, I have multiple different business owners that have come to me that say, I need help in my business.
Hmm.
And then I say, where exactly do you need help? And they're all like, I don't know, I just need help. You know? So then if you don't have clarity around the role that that person's going to play, then they're not on solid ground when they start. So
Yeah.
even if the personality fits, it may not be that they even know what they're supposed to be doing. And
Yes.
that's all on us as business owners, is figuring that part out. So really understanding yourself and your personality, because you don't necessarily want to hire somebody in the same personality as you, depending on the role, you
Right.
know? So you
Woo.
don't want a business. So I've noticed that there's some businesses I've gone into, they're very heavy on a certain style. So maybe it's, a lot of extroverts,
Mhm.
are in that business and they're very driven, and stuff like that. But then there are people that are in the company as well that are more introverted, and they take more time with the clients, and they really have more of the one-on-one instead of like rallying up the group, or something like that. So then the business owner isn't recognizing that value that that person has. And if they actually dive deep into the numbers, that person that takes more of that one-on-one time with the client, there's a higher retention on that client than
Exactly.
than a different side. So it's really taking a step back from your organization and really understanding yourself, because your business is a reflection of you.
100%.
So what is that you're creating? And if you're wanting to create that synergy in your business where people are appreciating the differences that everyone has, that's a mindful, intentional thing that you're doing, instead of just like, oh, it's going to just happen. It
Yeah.
doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
It is an intention of what's being created. So the way that Bill and Mimi are approaching it, or other business owners, they've come to me and said, you know, one of my clients was like, I'm scared to even hire people because
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. So
Mhm.
first we're diving into that person and figuring out, what are their strengths and what do they really don't want to do. So just taking time for yourself to do that, just creating a chart one of the easiest things you could do off of this is just saying, what are the things that I love about my business, working with my clients, whatever that may be. And I really don't like the bookkeeping and, and all that kind of stuff. If I could take that away, that would be fantastic. So from there, then, where do I need to hire?
Right.
Yes.
Like I might not, I don't need to hire over here because I really love to do those things, but I start here, and now you've eliminated that from your plate, and then you monitor it. So that's the other thing, is the control factor.
Yes.
So there's a lot of business owners that I've been doing this all myself, and I'm telling them to do something. I'm telling my employee to do something, and they don't get it. What's the problem? Now I have to do this. Like, stop yourself there.
Yes.
Be like, okay, wait a second. It was me. I didn't communicate effectively to that person, so they understood what it was that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I've had that multiple times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't clarify that. Like, I didn't say exactly what it was that you wanted. So, I see how you could have misinterpreted this situation. 100%. And then I go through and I rewrite what it was, the communication that I had to the person. Because nowadays, with text messaging and emails, I mean, how many times do you go through and have a misinterpretation of what you said?
Yeah.
Because of, if I read that again, I didn't really communicate that well. And with the advent of AI, it's a wonderful tool, but making sure to go back and really read that. So then it's using your voice. So making sure that in that communication, and then also too, when you have the verbal communication with people, I mean, there's so many filters going on in that person's head.
So many, yes.
And their experience with something is completely different. And if you have any employees that English is their second language, and I know that I work with a lot of people that are all over the world, and with them, English is a second language. So the meaning that we have in English may be completely different than what they understand that to be.
100%, yeah.
So it's really, that's another part of it too. And here in the US, we have people from all over, we're the salad, of the world, with so many different things. So when you're hiring, know yourself first. If you could do that, that's going to be the best thing that you can do, because as you start to hire, it's very intentional in your hiring, in the role, and also the personality. So if you're somebody that's more introverted, you have a great idea, the product, the service really well, but then I have a really hard time selling that. I'm not the one that goes out there. I'm not the one that does that. So then it's like, okay, let me hire somebody on that side. It may be intimidating to hire somebody, of that differing personality, and having the confidence yourself to be like, I'm the business owner, and this person may have a strong personality, but I'm the business owner, and I need to communicate effectively to that person. So those are just some of the tips on if you're, intending to do that, or even assessing your own team right now. It's like we were talking about, right placing people. And like you were saying, Bill, like somebody that's really good with numbers, maybe keep them in accounting. Don't have them be a team builder, and there's people. And then I've noticed that I've even, in prior what I was doing, and I was interviewing and hiring people, and some people have come to me for a particular job. Like some organizations, I had at the most 250 employees, and I had different departments that required hiring, and maybe I was hiring for one and I was interviewing that person. I was like, they would be really good in this other position. Do they even know that? So then I would say, have you ever considered this other type of job? I know you're coming in to be in the accounting or record keeping department, but the personality was very outgoing. I'm all like,
we can spot it
activities, out there with the clients, with the customers. Have you ever, considered that? And they're all like, I didn't even know that was available. Like, I didn't even know that was a job. So the more that what your organization requires, especially if you have large teams, if you know what your organization requires and you're in charge of hiring, then you can right place the people there. And if you need assistance with that, that's why, that's like what I do. I do business and leadership coaching. So it's like figuring out, what do you need as a leader, and
Right.
what do you require to surround you to grow, to go from
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to touch on that.
Yeah, not easy. That's true.
The
Yeah,
team.
building a team is not easy, but also it's in the way that you think about it.
Yeah,
If you're thinking it's not easy, it's never going to be easy for you.
that's right.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
then if you're thinking this is a fun challenge of how can I, it's not where you're wanting to control it. It's all like allowing it to flow. There's so many things behind that. Like we could
Oh
go
wait,
on for hours with this.
you just hit something.
Yeah.
One of the issues we had for a long time was me personally letting go. And so I remember we hired this guy, and he was with us for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just babysitting him and carrying him. I didn't allow myself to. You've been trained literally in our line of work 30 days. You should be able. It's not rocket science,
Yeah.
right? It's a little bit of science to it, but it takes you at least 30 days to learn that science. And so this individual was with us for almost a year, and I was still there holding his hand, right? And I remember my wife coming in frustrated, like, no, it's time. We got to cut this off because uh, I didn't feel the individual was capable of doing this by himself. So I thought. So in my mind, I created a scenario where I can do it better than him versus
Mm-hmm.
giving training him, being confident in the training and allowing him to make mistakes and
Mm-hmm.
correct those
Mm-hmm.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another blockage of why people do not want to build teams because again, Robert Kiyosaki said if you cannot uh, uh, leave your business for 90 days and it self sustain itself,
Mm-hmm.
you
It's
are
not a hobby.
self-employed, right? And so now there's nothing wrong with being self-employed because a lot of people want they're that one-man band. That's okay. But
Mm-hmm.
those of us that are trying to create a company that can run independent of you, you have to be able to train, delegate, and trust the training and trust and be confident in the individuals that yeah, they're gonna make mistakes, but you're gonna be there to help them through that process.
Yeah.
That's when a different form of leadership takes effect where you have some people that are better at coaching, some people is better at mentor. So you got to find out, like you said, who you are.
Yeah.
And I find out that me personally, I'm more of a mentor coach type leader because I want to walk with you. I want to show you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are very very important key components you have to understand when you're getting ready to start
It's
building those
mandatory.
teams. Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
mandatory. And I was just getting ready to say that that is a road blockage of people starting their business owners, even people that have big
Yeah.
businesses, that they feel like nobody can do what they do or do better than what they do.
Yeah.
It's so important to know your role. Even like with me and Bill, that's probably how we are able to do business because I don't want to be the know-it-all.
You're like,
I want to be the small fish in a big pond. That's what I want to be. So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever he has to be able to invest in me, I want that. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So, if you don't know your role, then of course you're going to always be stumbling over. So, at this point, we know our roles and what we have to offer. We know our weaknesses, we know our strengths. So, when you're hiring, this is what you're looking for. We're targeting those strengths. And I think what set us apart in business is that we're able to have these conversations with people. We're building a team at this very moment. We're not just building, it's not a me and Bill, just business. You know what I mean? We're building a team because we all have to mirror each other. We have to be able to do the same things. We have to be able to work together and all of that.
Yeah.
So by building the team, you have to be able to build the strengths of those employees, those people that are coming on. You know what I mean? Um, and that can happen. I think you had said even Bill with the number guy. So before when we first started, you know, when you starting a business, you like, I need somebody in this position. Well, we don't know, you know what I'm saying? So we was quick to give some stuff away. Like, yeah, he can be this, he can be that, and you can give too much too soon.
Yeah.
And they not know. It's a big difference between an employee and the owner,
Oh, yeah.
the business owner, because everything that's in here, we have a lot of them be like, I want to work. I can work hard as you. Me and Bill work day and night.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It sounds good until you see the numbers start changing. Start changing. Now you overworked and now you tired because we signed up for this. Everybody didn't sign up for this. You're
Right.
at the employee standpoint, right?
Mhm.
So you don't really understand what all is really being put. It's a different kind of strength that you have
Mhm.
as a business owner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So for the employee to be, you want somebody that can come in with that strength like that, but we also have to tell you, no, we've seen this before.
Slow down.
We've
Right.
seen this before. We have to slow down and take it slow.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're gonna burn out quickly. You're gonna
Yeah.
burn out quickly, and we don't want that.
Mhm.
So really, it's really knowing your role in order to be able to build your team.
Mhm.
I want to first answer a couple of questions, you guys.
Mhm.
Ability to learn as you go is imperative as a business owner. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We have another question pinned here too. Said, how can we build business relationships without destroying friendships in the process, Athena? I want to answer that a little bit too. Destroying friendships and relationships. Friendship and family and business, they don't all go together. You have to have a distinction between them. If you're doing business with a friend, a family member, you have to know that
Mhm.
this is business. A lot of time we've had family members that work with us and we have to, be like, the family box is closed. We're on business
Mhm.
time now. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So you really have to have that distinction in between whether this is a friendship deal or we doing
Mhm.
this on business.
Yeah.
What would you say to that, Athena?
So there's almost two different directions that I'm seeing with this. I'm not sure exactly which one, so I'll address both of them. So if how to not destroy your relationships. If we look at friendship, if you're thinking you're not in business with a person and it's just your friends, right? So you got friends and then you do business.
Yeah.
So think about what kind of qualities do you want in your friends? Like maybe there's a time and place. Everybody's in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Right.
So were the friendships that you had at the time good for that time, but now that you've made a decision to move forward in business, maybe the friends that you have don't have that same mindset. Maybe they want to go in a completely different direction. They want to stay employees. They want to be told, here's the role that you're playing in this organization, and this is a job that you do. When you check out at 5, you're done.
Right.
But for you, like Bill and Mimi are talking about, as a business owner, you're thinking about your business. It's your baby that you're growing in, and it's growing. And in the beginning, it could be very frustrating. It can be lonely because you're creating something that nobody sees. So
100%.
if somebody is a true friend, by definition of friend, and if we define that as somebody that's respectful, that somebody's encouraging, that they're, on your side, it's, if you're friends, if you could be away from them, like we talked about being away from your business, if you're away from your friends for like 6 months, maybe even 8 months,
Yeah.
and then you come together again and you're like, I'm so happy to see you, and then you have a good time, that's going to be a true friend. Because if that friend relies on you so much for their happiness, they're stealing your energy. So that's a key thing, is really understanding the people that are around you. And that cannot just be a friend. That could be a family member. That could be your parents. That could be any of those things. You are responsible for your own life and your own business. It's going to live and die by your hand and your
Yeah.
ability to do this. So if a friend isn't actually contributing in some way to be like, hey, do you need some help? I know that you've been working day and night. Is there anything that I could do? If they're not like that and they're just like, oh, why are you doing your business? You haven't been hanging out with us or something like that. That's sabotage. So that's
Woo!
corporate sabotage for your business. So it's your choice.
Yes.
Do you want that or do you not want that? So it's a whole other dynamic. Now, if we take the side of you're in business with your friend, this is where it could be destroyed if you didn't start that business understanding what both of your roles were going to be.
That's good.
So if both of your roles, if you're all like, hey, I'm really good at marketing, I'm really good at doing people, and you're really good at all of the operations. So I think we could come together to do this. If you had those conversations and you define those roles, then you know what is expected of each person in that partnership. Did you even put together a partnership agreement before you started?
Yeah.
You know, those are the things you want to look at. Or if maybe you just thought, oh, well, this would be a great thing for us to do together. You know, we have great time together. You know, we're really talented at these different things. Let's do it. Okay. That's a way to start. That's like the little flame that's starting. But all of a sudden it could be a very focused, like flamethrower type of situation, or it could be a wildfire.
Wildfire, right.
You know, so it's really understanding that's that key of knowing yourself, knowing who you're working with, and in no way are you ever destroying a relationship, because if a relationship was true and it was there to support you, it will never go away. There's friends that I have where it could be years that we haven't talked. And then all of a sudden I think about them and I send them a message and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I haven't talked to you in so long. I was just thinking about you. And then they're just supportive on the other side. Like, hey, yeah, I just wanted to see what's going on. How are you doing? You know, but it's never like, you know, you never talk to me. You never call me anymore, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I'm lonely, you know, all those different types of things. So it's very, so you really, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, you're putting your energy into something that's growing beyond you. And especially as a leader, growing your teams, you're going to put your energy into your team and growing that. And you don't want to deplete yourself. Like we said, you know, we don't want to, you know, burn ourselves out. And the way to not burn yourself out is being very mindful and intentional. We've heard this before. I think you've said it before, Bill. You know, your income level and your ability to manage your emotions and all of that is going to be dictated by those 5 people, those key people that you have around you.
Yeah, 100%.
So who are you listening to? What is influencing you? But really, it's just, you know the right answers for yourself. And you know deep down, if you ever feel inside of yourself uneasy in any relationship, something's going on. I can't put my finger on it. It's all like, that's you saying to yourself, I shouldn't really be in this relationship, or I should limit the time that I'm in this relationship. So then, you know, slowly separate yourself, because there's no shame in, you know, there was a time that I had those friends, but it's not really the best time now. So I think, I hope that answered your question.
Oh, that was a good answer. My mom is on here as well. She just put on here, she said she worked for us before. But they are great people to work for. And there's one thing she can say about us is that we stand the ground with family or no family, because they have to take care of their family, themselves, and you know, no one else will. So that's good. Thank you for that, Mom. That's true. We do. At the end of the day, this is our job too. So we can't allow because it's family or friends want to come in and destroy what you got going on, or whatever, you know. You cannot.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about something like Bill was saying early on, profitability, right?
Profitability, exactly.
So it's a situation where, oh, you're my friend, you can give me a deal, right? You could do that for free instead of, you know, getting paid for it, right? And it's all like, they're in a business. Pay them, you know, if they're providing a service. Like I have friends that are in different, you know, organizations, you know, some of them are in multi-level marketing, or some of them are in different things. I'm like, okay, I know like 5 Avon people, you know, or something, you know. So then it's like, if I'm going to get something, I'm going to like, maybe I'll get one thing from this person, another thing from that person, you know, or I'll buy this, or I'll try that, you know, and I get it. I don't tell them to give it to me for free.
Yeah,
100%.
same here.
Yes.
Same here.
Yeah.
I think we're on the other side of that now where you understand because I ain't gonna lie, I used to be that one in the deal type of person. And plus I used to do hair, so I know how that is. And I used to give deals and I used to make a
Yeah.
note that I'm understandable to that. I've done hair for free and everything, but when you learn your worth, you like, yeah, them days is over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna support you, and I need you to support me too
Yeah.
because I'm here to make a profit. I'm here to make money. I'm not really here just to be cute or anything like that. So
Yeah. And then
yeah.
just to add too, I think too, friendship, family, etc. I think sometimes we just have the ability to just be selfish and
Mhm.
uh, not see the importance of somebody like your friend, supposedly that started a business, and you understanding that they doing that is not going to just benefit them.
Mhm. Ooh, looks like Bill and Mimi, their camera went out. So let me go ahead and see what we've got here. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
It will give you
Technology.
it will give you the ability to kind of say to yourself, okay, at the end of the day, um, this relationship has to it has to work on different levels. So if it means me cutting ties and say I'm not going to work with you because you're family, then I have to sever those ties and just respect that relationship,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think you got to go about doing it the right way. One of the easiest way to lose family and friends is to say no. But I think if you're saying no because your yes is going to hinder you or it's going to hold you back,
Mhm.
I think no, then it's a very important word you have to get used to saying, right?
Mhm.
It might hurt, but at the end of the day, that no is going to put you further along because if you keep saying yes, it kind of takes you steps backwards, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially,
When you know that vision of where you're going, you know
yeah,
what's going to support you and what's not going to support you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially when you're in the building stages, because it's like how I explain it is every time you put a brick on the wall,
Mhm.
somebody come and say, "Hey, can I borrow a brick?"
On the
Okay, here
wall.
you go. And then you never get completed with that wall because
Yeah.
you look get so far, and then somebody come and ask you, "Can I borrow a brick?" Oh, you have to give a
Mhm.
brick, right? So
Yeah.
again, it's a dynamic that you got to have a good flow and synergy has to be around it. And it's
Mhm.
not you're being mean. It's no, if I don't protect this while I'm
Mhm.
building it,
Yeah,
we're all gonna die, right?
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
like I was saying, 5 years going on 5 years, 6 years almost, we have our business has not just sustained us; it has sustained employees from
Mhm.
almost day one. So we're grateful for that, and we are in the position now where we don't want to lose that for nobody, right?
Mhm.
Because we can see it, right? It's almost there, and it's like, man, we're building, but if you're not careful, you're not self-aware, you're not
Yeah.
uh, in a healthy place where your mind is clear, you're able to see things from a clear perspective, not being emotional,
Mhm.
say, but you're able to kind of divide and separate the situation as they arise.
Mhm.
That'll put you either backwards or to put you forward to communicate effectively and precisely with family, friends, etc. Hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I can do, and this is what I'm not going to do. So again,
Mhm.
we can talk about that all day because that dynamic between the friends, family, all of that stuff is very interesting.
Yeah.
There are some family that will support you 100%. We have had a good family support from our families and over the years, so we're very grateful for that. But then there's all the sides where family just won't support you. They'll tear you down, like you said, sabotage, etc. So yeah, you got to be aware of all those things. So this conversation is so good.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
getting good
And we,
good engagement. So we don't
Yeah.
want to take up all the time. So we want to
yeah.
reach the
So,
comments.
yeah. So I think another point when we talk about friends is as the business owner, there's a way to be friendly with your employees versus being their friend.
Yes.
So that's where, knowing the boundaries
That
Yeah,
line.
and where that line is and making sure not to cross over that.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Seriously.
you're right. So there's that different because when you're developing culture the business culture that you have, being intentional with that, because sometimes you may have hired somebody in a role and now it's toxic in that environment, and you've identified that. So I've gone into organizations where assessing the team and how they're working, and then I can narrow down and identify there's that one person, or maybe even two people in the organization, where then it's having, a strong conversation with them of expectation, and then if they don't meet the expectation, you weed that garden.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
fast.
you may have to let them go.
Yeah.
And there have been situations where I've strategically had to do that. And then when they leave, it's a whole different environment. People feel open, they can, do their jobs to the capacity that they can do it. They don't feel, pushed down and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But it's a very strategic thing to do. And that's where getting assistance to be able to identify that in organizations is very important, because you just don't want to go through and slash
Yeah.
people in roles. You want to be strategic with what it is that you're doing,
Yeah.
in that type of organization. So that was something else that came up while you were talking there, Bill.
Yeah. Wow, the time is flying so fast. We want to respect the time of the individuals that have gotten on. So in probably got a time for another question or comment,
Yeah,
and
let's
then we'll start
see.
transitioning out. So man, this has been a very engaging conversation. We hope you guys have found value in it. So is there another
Oh
one?
yeah, and I think there was one other thing that I had written down that we were gonna go over, is in your professional relationships. So some of it, we were talking a lot of inside the organization, your family, your friends, that kind of thing. But just in your professional, like networking, other business owners, your relationships with other business owners, you really want to avoid the other person feeling that you've probably had that feeling. You're in a networking situation and you feel that that person's like trying to get something from you.
Yeah.
Like they're sucking the energy right out of me.
Yes,
You want, when you go into those situations, you want to make sure that, how can I be of service in this conversation? If I can just provide my words of encouragement for their business, understanding what it is that they offer, maybe even in your mind, oh, this would be a really good connection, to somebody, provide that, say what it is that you're sensing and feeling. So you're being of some type of service to them, especially if you're out networking and doing that. You never want anybody to feel that you're trying to get them. You're trying, so it's being very mindful of that. So that was some of the other things that we were.
Sometimes that can kind of catch you up a little bit. Sometimes I think people be trying to think like we're trying to sell people a hope and a dream, when it's real life, like we're real genuine people. You know what I'm saying? Like, this sounds too good to be true. Like, we ain't trying to get over on nobody. Like, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real.
But I
That's
think
a
it's
good one, I
just
think,
it's an illusion of success that people see, and they only see the finished product, and they don't necessarily understand. And I know it's a little slightly off, but they don't necessarily see the work that goes into the success, or what appears to be success, right? And so it's like they want to skip steps.
Yeah, and as you're growing, the one contributor was saying something about, friends and destroying friendships. You're really going to be gaining friendships as well, because as you're moving to different, levels in your business, your relationships, you're going to start meeting new people that you've never met before. So in that, you really want to be intentional with who you are surrounding yourself with, and then those people that are going to be a good fit for where you're at are going to come to you, and just be open to it. You never know who knows who that can have that positive influence on your business and what you're doing. Yeah,
that's true.
Shameless plug. So we're recreating our culture. We're involving the team now. And we recommended a book that my wife and I read last month sometime, Who Moved Your Cheese?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, and it talks about those dynamics, right? Where they have those four characters, and each of them stand and represent different things. And
Mhm.
so we'll put the book name in the chat just for those of you that want to read that book. It's a short read. You can listen to it. You can read it. However, it's free. You can get
Mhm.
the PDF, but it shows you the dynamic between the relationships. And if you are in the mindset of wanting to bring everybody with you, family, friends, the kitchen sink, all of that. It tells you, maybe they're not ready to move to new cheese, right? They're
Mhm.
comfortable where they're at.
Mhm.
And so when you said that, it triggered that in my mind because when you at the end, they pushed through and they all was able to enjoy new cheese, but there
Mhm.
was the other two characters that was already there. And so it was phenomenal because now you start to see the other side of
Mhm.
the relationship where if you hadn't moved, you would have stayed where you was at and you
Yep.
would have missed out on those opportunities that will give you new friendship, that will give you new opportunities to network
Mhm.
with people on different
Mhm.
levels. So yeah, you cannot stay as a business owner if you are staying stagnant, if you're not pivoting. And I remember 2020, we
Mhm.
did our live when COVID was about to happen. We were one of the first one I got on social media and started doing
Mhm.
it live because we're doing it in person, and we
Mhm.
knew and recognized that wasn't
Yeah.
feasible. So we transitioned to online, and then the COVID hit, and so we did a video early on and told people, hey, start to create your Facebook group, marketing
Mhm.
to them to keep those core group of people you have. Make sure you're doing subscription based
Mhm.
models for those people that have been with you. Make sure that they're able to have that. Give them more value right through your
Mhm.
messaging on Facebook, etc. And those people that did it benefited, and a lot of people didn't do
Mhm.
that, and so they end up losing their business or
Mhm.
fell back really far to where they're playing catch up. So
Mhm.
it's a lot we can go into. The time
Yeah. And
span.
then there was just one other thing I think that I had there, Bill, is like this was only the tip of the iceberg on relationships and communication and that kind of thing. But if you're interested, I'm going to be having a group course that we're going to dive into each of the areas of communication and how to improve that so you can have practical things that you can practice
Yeah,
in your life and in your business. So
yeah,
if you're wanting to be on the waiting list for that, and that's probably going to be starting in April, so we're doing a waiting list. So you can right here, Mimi has put down at the bottom, hello@lifetodesign.com. In the subject line, write communication. And then from there, just let us know your name and your business, so then we can get you on the waiting list to be able to be a part of that. So we'll go ahead and do that.
Awesome. That's gonna be.
Yeah, and there's some other great questions that I saw pop in there about
Let's go.
scaling and all of those things. And
I
in 1
know.
minute, we can't answer that question.
We got a couple minutes. Let's go. We might go over like a good 5 minutes, but we have a. Can you own your own business if you're doing charity work? Yes, you can. That would be a nonprofit, right?
Yes, to give you an example, um, yes, I've actually helped start nonprofit organizations
Mhm.
while I was working full time running a facility. And I
Mhm.
actually helped start an orphanage in India and never having stepped foot in India. And it's still in existence today. So you can do both. And
Nice.
it's that synergy that we're talking about, the ebb
mhm,
and flow of what that is. And and having an intention for what you want your life to be,
Mhm.
because I have a vision for creating a foundation. I know that I don't want to run a nonprofit organization because I know what it takes.
yeah,
But I'm like, I can do what I do best, and then I can funnel the money to the organizations that are doing what they do well, and I
yeah,
want to support them.
uh-huh,
So it's being intentional with those things too. So you can do charity work, you can do nonprofit work, but just understand, where is the value that you're giving that? Do they need your time, or do they need your funds? And if you were to shift that, where I don't have the time but I can give you the money, are they
right,
going to be okay with that? Are they
Mhm.
going to be resentful? Are they going to be appreciative?
right,
What's going to happen there? So
That's
think about those things.
That's
yeah.
good. Okay, another question was how long from a business standpoint should a young business owner expect his or her business to scale? Is there a time frame to this? I want to know the young business owner. Is it like a younger person or a baby as in business?
So I'll
the
touch on that
beginning.
real
Your
quick.
first month out, like there's some people are like, it should be a hit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But
So
realistically,
so the stat says you have to be at least 10 years
uh-huh.
into business to be profitable, right? That's what the stats say. Also, within the first what 2 to 5 years, most businesses don't make it. So if you can survive the first 5 years, you're chugging along, right? You're
Mhm,
not profitable, but you're breaking even, and you're able to continue to build and expand, right? Scale, grow, scale, whatever the process looks like. But then also, you have to give yourself room, because if you're just starting and you want to really start seeing profit, and your margins are, you're looking for 30-40% profit margin, you might not get it within that 7 to 10 year period, because you have went through all of the hurdles, right?
mhm.
That's why coaching is important, to help you get there faster, because the coaching consultant will help you because they have been there,
Yep.
right? They have built businesses, they have scaled businesses, so they understand what it's going to take. But you doing it on your own as a new business might not be a good thing. Now, if you are a young individual, a person
He
that's
said as a
young,
business,
oh,
a
as a
baby in
business,
business,
a
I
baby
believe.
in
Yeah.
business, okay,
Mhm.
yeah. I think entrepreneurs have to understand you got to give yourself grace,
Yep.
because this thing do not come with a manual. And even with the coaching, or even with the consulting, or whatever you choose to go with, you still are going to fail in certain areas. Certain areas will be what they call of try and error,
Mhm.
right? Just because, right? So doing your research early on, seeing how saturated the market you're in is, how competitive it is. And there's another book I would recommend, Blue Ocean Strategies. Reading that book will give you a better understanding how, if you're going into a market that's highly competitive,
Yes.
it teaches and shows you how to create your own blue ocean, right? Where you're over here doing your own thing, but it's so successful, you're taking market share from other companies that are already doing it. So you have to look at, it's very nuanced, right? You have to look at it in a broad sense of the word to be able to real process it. So I don't know if you guys want to
Yeah,
add.
you can't say, okay, at year one you're going to scale here, and at year two you're going to. There's no answer for that, because every business is different. And if when you started your business, did you already have an exit plan?
Right.
Yeah.
When you
Right.
started your business, did you already envision your business being a certain level where it doesn't take as much as your time, or did you go into the business first and now you're figuring out, should I scale? Should I, you know, yeah, I'm going to need to hire some employees. Did you create another job for yourself? Are you more self-employed, or are you building a business? So there's so many nuances in how you're set up right now, that isn't a situation that can be, or a question that can be answered in a very short amount of time, because it really takes the ability to go in. And that's why, as a business owner, having that vision, that's why it's one of the pillars, is really understanding what your vision and mission is. Because if you don't carry that, then when people are on a mission, then they build that team around them, and they believe in what it is that you're doing, and they will
Sell
follow
the
you.
team.
And
Yeah.
then if you don't have that vision, nothing's going to stick.
Right.
It's a hobby, right?
Nothing's going to stick. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
building
It's
a
something I
hobby.
like to do, but liking to do something and creating it into a business is completely different. That bridge has to be built on building it from what you love to do to a business. So
Mhm.
so so there's so many nuances to that, but
Yeah.
it would be more of an individual type of going into, being able to help with that. Yeah.
So what I think is, Athena, as back to basics, we're
Mhm.
kicking off these workshop. We did our first one in live in person.
Mhm.
It was around the subject of finance, right? And we're
Mhm.
talking about
Yeah,
taxes.
taxes.
That was
Mhm.
a very successful event.
Mhm.
We're going to be doing a mixture of in-person events and webinars.
Mhm.
And so keep continue to follow us. One thing I'll offer that individual that made that comment,
Mhm.
we're willing to do a 30 minutes consulting, me and myself, along with Athena, just to kind of see where you're at and see if there's anything we can do to help move you along, what kind of business you're in, because you can't just answer this question like you said in a vacuum. We got to hear exactly what's going on, and we'll be able to kind of steer you in the right direction with the resources and stuff that we have at our disposal. So whoever that person is, just connect with us, and then we'll be able to kind of help walk you through the process. Because again, starting a new business can be daunting, right? And so you want to make sure that you're clear on your vision, and we can't express that enough, right? That's why it's one of the pillars. You have to just to understand where you're at, and so yeah.
Yeah, you can email to, like, if you want to, you can email to hello@lifetodesign.com. I can send you a survey, and then we'll go from there to be able to see about, moving forward with setting a time, or, what direction to go in.
Okay.
So we could do that.
Yeah. Thank you. So again, everybody has been on here. I mean, this has been one of the most engaging we have had in a while. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being on this journey with us. Like we said, it's been 3 years. We've been on here encouraging people and allowing them. It's so much we have as a new partner. Ship has been formed to back to basics, right? So there's a lot we have coming. We're going to literally have an event every month. Our calendar is getting put together, so hopefully by next month we'll have a tentative date that different things and different projects we're working
in
on.
person, live, or
Yeah, and we want to have fun as entrepreneurs because it can be tense. It can be very tense because you don't have nobody. You can be by yourself. I mean, it's not lonely at the top. I think it's just not too many people is traveling on that road. So you have to get with the right people that's going to where you're going, and it can become fun. It can become a community or shared resource.
Build bridges. Build bridges.
Etc. So I think just understanding that it gives you a little bit of hope, right? So starting a business, man, is one of that's what it said. Almost all businesses fail within the first 5 years. So if you're able to cross that threshold, you'd be like, because we just passed it was a we made it, yes, right. But
and a COVID on top of that.
we survived COVID, right? Not too many businesses made it, right? But again, so again, that's the whole reason we created this back to basics, because again, we saw throughout COVID and just everything else, people don't have the basics. The world says start a business. Everybody says start a business. How? Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's easy to start a business, but it's not easy to put it together.
It's not easy to maintain it, right? So start, build, and maintain. It's not an easy process. But if you are built for it, it's a fun journey. It is a journey, but it can become very fun and very interesting. So again, we have been on here long enough. Any last words before we transition out?
Yeah, I think you said it all, Bill, and we just look forward to this year being able to do, either live or in person here. If you're in the Sacramento or surrounding areas, we've had people come from the Bay Area for our first event, in the surrounding areas. So come live. We're going to be doing workshops and helping everybody out. If you have any questions, anything that you're all like, hey, as a business owner, I'd really like to know, more of this, or the question about scaling or things like that, feel free to email us there right now at hello@lifetodesign.com and just say, hey, I listened to the webinar. I have some questions about these things. And then from there, we'll probably gain some and probably either incorporate that into some of our upcoming meetings and things like that. We may not be able to do a one-on-one at this point, but we will survey you. We will get information out, so you will get your answers. And yeah, we're here to serve, and we're here to take this around the world. We've got people from around the world with us right now, and the world's pretty small with the advent of technology. More people internationally than locally during COVID in my room. So,
it's exciting. Any last words, Mimi?
Well, sending love, because this is our relationship in February, as the month, for Valentine's Day. So just sending love to everyone and encouraging for your businesses. And we just wish the best for all of you.
Yes. I think Athena summed it up. I think we are good. Let's.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yes.
Stay tuned. There'll be more information coming out.
All right, guys. Have a happy Saturday.
Have fun.
Yeah.